Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsay's Little Library. So we are somehow at the beginning of June. Not really sure how that happened so quickly, but I thought I'd share with you what I read in the month of May. I somehow crammed 8 books into the month. Not really sure how that happened, but I will take it. And it was a really great reading month. I read some awesome books. So we should probably talk about them, right? I do have them written in order, so we can go in order, I guess, if you want. I'm good with it. First one I picked up is The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. How did we hear about this? I was talking to Audrey from Chapters in Converse, or Chapter in Converse. I said that wrong. Sorry, Audrey. Was it Riley Sager? Tweeted something about, I don't know how we got on this topic, but her and I were both like, yeah, we need to read this book. We got to check this out. So we ordered it. You can only get it through Book Depository right now. And I don't even know how to describe it other than it's 5 stars. And just be ready to read this book if you're okay with having more questions than answers. If you're okay with messed up things. And you're okay with like, what? I have no better way to explain this book, but it's fantastic. I'll read the jacket because I had to come back to this a number of times as I was reading it. I just did. So it says, you won't believe what's inside the last house on Needless Street. This is a story of a murderer, a stolen child, revenge. This is the story of Ted, who lives with his daughter Lauren and his cat Olivia in an extraordinary house at the end of an ordinary house at the end of an ordinary street. All these things are true, and yet some of them are lies. You think you know what's inside the last house on Needless Street. You think you've read this story before. In the dark forest at the end of Needless Street, something lies buried, but it's not what you think. So you have multiple perspectives, a little bit of time jumping, and a cat. That is very much a cat that I love. So that's my take on The Last House on Needless Street. I know that's not much, just pick it up, and then when you do, let me know, because you're gonna need somebody to talk to. Thankfully I had Audrey. I don't know how I would have read that book without her, because oh my gosh, it blew my mind. Next one I picked up was Dear Martin by Nick Stone. This was a good follow-up because I needed something a little bit more. It is what it is. 5 stars. This follows our main character, Justice, as he is kind of dealing with life. He's a good kid, an honor student, always there to help a friend, and yet he ended up in handcuffs. So he tries to figure out, it's kind of a coming of age story and figuring out how he fits in the world where things always are not fair. He writes letters to Martin Luther King Jr. as kind of his way of coping with this. He has an amazing debate teacher who I love the character in here and how he is. There was such an awesome part of this book that I had to highlight, and I've actually written down a couple of things as far as helping me understand where Justice is and how he was feeling and what he was doing with what was going on. It was really great. Highly recommend. Next one I read is In an Instant by Suzanne Redfern. I also gave this 5 stars. Oh, so good. So it follows a family who is going up to their cabin, but it's kind of by like a ski resort. So they go up there for a bit of a break, and there's always this tradition. They go out and get pizza the very first night that they go up to the cabin. And the weather was not great, but it wasn't something they haven't driven through before. Unfortunately, they get into an accident, and then it follows kind of what happens from there. Their survival right after the accident, and then following their rescue, their continued survival. It was so good, and so many feels, all the feels. It was fantastic. I loved it. Next one I picked up on a whim. So I read In an Instant on my tablet, and I had taken my daughters to Arizona to visit my brother, and kind of finished that book, and my daughter wanted to use my tablet to watch some shows on the plane, so I kind of was without that, and I didn't bring a backup book. I know. And I had finished Dear Martin while I was there. So I picked this up in the airport on a whim, and I'm so glad I did. It's The Engineer's Wife by Tracy Anderson Wood. And this follows the building of the Brooklyn Bridge and our main character, Emily Roebling, and kind of the role she played in getting this dream of her husband's and her husband's family up and running and going, and the mountains of people that stood in her way that she just got over. And oh, it's fantastic. It was awesome historical fiction. What did I give it? I gave it 4 stars. There was a few parts a little slow, but overall very, very good. And I had not seen this book before, so hopefully I'm not the first person to talk about it, but go get this book. It's so fantastic. And of course it has another woman with her back to us. I mean, come on. Cover artists of historical fiction novels. Let's find another one. I feel like they all are women with their backs to us. All right, next one. I listened to, and it took me almost the whole month, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I did this on audiobook, which, oh, of course, I'm so happy I took people's advice and did the audiobook. I think it made this even better because it just sounded like I was listening to a podcast. And it really follows the life of Daisy Jones as she joins the Six, and they kind of come to fame and have this fantastic album and deal with working together and the fame of it. And it was really, really good. Highly recommend. Love it. And I'm so excited for Malibu Rising that came out like today and needs to be in my mailbox soon. I'm so excited for that one. So Taylor Jenkins Reid knocks it out of the park again. Another one, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. Oh my gosh, so good. 5 stars. I'm telling you guys, I read some super good books this month. This one has dual timelines. We have multiple perspectives. It's got historical fiction. It's got some mystery. It has like all of Lindsey's vibes all wrapped up in one book, and I loved it. So follows kind of 3 main characters. We have Nellie, Caroline, and what's her other name? Of course, I can't remember it. And none of the chapters. There's Nella, Caroline, and starts with an E. Eliza. Wow. So you have those 3 perspectives. So 18th century London, Nella is running an apothecary shop where she helps women kind of stand up against men who are abusing them, harming them, who are not good men, and she helps these women poison these men. So then we have present day, we have Caroline. She's kind of off on a trip dealing with some relationship issues. She's by herself, she's in London, and she starts kind of uncovering this mystery around the lost apothecary. And Eliza is in there too. Oh my God. Eliza's working with Nella, kind of wants to be her apprentice. It's just so fantastic. It's so fantastic. I just can't, I mean, and it's this little book, and it's just packed full of goodness. 5 stars. Then I pick up this, another 5-star read, Every Last Fear by Alex Finlay. I'm probably more 4.5. It's not perfect. It's his debut novel, but man alive, does this man know how to end a chapter? And you just can't put it down. You can't stop. So it starts out with they found the bodies on a Tuesday. Little multiple perspective here, a little back and forth in time, but we're really focused around the Pine family. And there was a crime that happened in the past where one of the Pine boys is in prison. So the entire family has been trying to exonerate him to prove his innocence for years. And then unfortunately, some of the family members end up dying, and it becomes this whole mystery. It's so good. So good. I mean, I can't wait for his next book. If this is his debut, man, we got potential. We've got potential. And then I picked up a random one from the library and read it very quickly over the weekend. It's The Haunting of Gillespie House by Darcy Coates. I gave this, I would say, about 3.5 stars. Best book I ever read? No, but that's okay. It still was creepy. It still was dark. It was still I wanted that like ghost vibe, and it delivered absolutely. So this actually is a compilation of a few. So I read the actual Haunting of the Gillespie house, and then there's like 3 short stories in the back here that I still want to get to, but I'm still counting it as done because that story I read. I would definitely pick up a Darcy Coates book again. Like I said, it was exactly the creep me out factor that I wanted. I was actually reading it outside a little bit, and my daughter and her friend came around the house, which was not unexpected, but whoo, I jumped. So it got me, definitely got me. Anyways, those are the 8 books that you need to check out because they're all so good. Which is like, how is my June gonna look like? Because I don't know, I had a really fantastic May. Few plans for June. I'm already in the middle of Things You Save in the Fire by Catherine Center. This follows our main character Cassie as she moves from being part of the the fire department in Austin, Texas as a female firefighter. She moves north to Massachusetts, where she isn't completely accepted. She moves there to help her mom, and we're about halfway in. I was hoping for more like her being on duty and going and helping at accident scenes and fires and stuff, and there hasn't been a whole lot of that, which is still good. I'm still really enjoying it. Like I said, I'm halfway through, and I just started this the other day, so making progress. Next up, I do have to read American Dirt by Janine Cummins. This is for one of my book club books for this month. And look at this, you guys. Oh, it's so pretty. But I've been hearing good things about it, so I'm excited to get to that one. And then we've got Shadow and Bone. And I think, are we doing the rest of them? I'm not even sure. I'm reading this with Krista and Amanda and Sarah. We've decided to pick this up because, well, it's on Netflix and I have yet to read it. I've been wanting to read it. It's been sitting here. I need to get to it. So we're going to pick this up and read this month as well. And then I plan on reading Malibu Rising, because that's our other book club book. So those are kind of my plans. Loose TBR. Well, no, not loose, because I have to get through those books. And then we'll see kind of what happens from there. I have been going through and kind of reorganizing and making my shelves look pretty again. So I've been finding some books that I want to pick up sooner than later. One of them being Promise Not to Tell by Jennifer McMahon, because, well, you know me and Jennifer McMahon, we get along really great. She likes to scare the crap out of me. But this one's fairly short. I feel like this is something I could, you know, get through pretty quick in a weekend. I have no idea what it's about. Don't want to. It says Deliciously Twisty. I'll take Deliciously Twisty. So that's on my list. And we'll see kind of where we go from there. I don't know. I do need to do some more audiobooks. I'm excited to get back into that habit. I really did find that I enjoyed listening to Daisy Jones and the Six when I was consciously putting those earbuds in and making sure I had that on instead of, I don't know, turning the TV on while I'm doing whatever around the house. I need to get better at that. So that's another goal. I just don't know which one yet. Anyways, if you've read any of these books and you want to chat about it below, leave me a comment. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.